Okie doke. Let's see, guys. Okay. Hi, everyone. Hopefully this is coming through. I'm always going to check my audio levels just to be sure, so give us a second or two. Hopefully this is coming through. Let me have a look at YouTube here. YouTube's always about half a minute behind me, so I'm going to have a look. Okay. Hi, everyone. Hopefully this is coming through. I'm always going to check my audio. Yeah. Okay, it's always weird when hearing your own voice. Okay. Welcome. So yeah, what are we going to be looking at today? There's going to be a few wee things that I want to look at with the new tune that's come up. As you guys, anyone who's seen this channel a few times or seen this stream a few times will know that I've asked Olivia Barrett, a professional violin fiddle player, who's actually got lessons, guys, at the moment. I only found that out today when I went onto her Facebook that she's opening up for students, I think, coming into the spring and summer. So if you're interested in learning, especially I think remotely, unless you live nearby in Canada, I think she's in British Columbia. So unless you live nearby, you probably have to do it all online, which would be great. I wish I could do it. So if you are interested in fiddle lessons, definitely go over, check out her Facebook. She's actually given me permission as well to use her reels on Facebook as like sort of backing. Well, I'm backing up what she's trying to back up what she's doing. So she's very kindly sort of given permission for that. So we're going to be looking at one today, which is a great tune. I think I heard Dervish play this. The House of Hamill is the name of the reel. So we're going to get stuck into that in a second. As soon as I can share my screen again. Okay, hopefully you guys can see on my screen. Okie doke. Let's see if we can bring up today's stuff. Let me see. It would be an instrumental. It would be in bouzouki. It would be practice with me. It would be today's stuff. And this is all today's stuff. Okay. Is it just me, or is the text getting smaller? Or am I getting older? Not being able to read my own files anymore. Okay. Yeah, we'll bring up the Muse score. We'll bring up the... Yeah, we'll bring up everything. That's the audio, that's Muse score, and the video. Same old, same old. Okay, so let's have a wee listen just to Olivia actually playing it, so you get a proper sound before I get stuck into it. Okay, so if I can just minimize this, get all the other distractions out of the way. Make that full screen. Okay, here we go. Here's the tune. An Ed Reevy tune. Very well known American fiddle player. Well, Irish American fiddle player. So here we go. Great tune. Yeah, so it's a great tune, isn't it? And also great variation, or version, I should say. Great version she plays there. This is an unusual tune, especially for me as a sort of whistle, flute, and uilleann piper and bouzouki player. That it's, first of all, structurally it's a bit unusual. Tonally, it's a bit unusual, and also structurally, tonally, and also internally, it's a bit unusual what happens to the piece. There's a couple of wee interesting there's a key change in it that's not the usual that you would expect out of Irish traditional music. So there's a lot of interesting stuff to explore in this tune, and the fact that it's a great tune, like, that's the main thing. It's a great tune. Okay, so let's just minimize Olivia for a wee sec, and we'll just bring up her audio. You could probably hear me going doo, as usual, trying to find the tonic. I think this is the original recording. If I get rid of the inspector for a wee second, and can I make this big without my big head getting in the way? Oh, that'll do, actually, won't it? Yeah. Okay, let's have a wee listen just to the A section. And just let me check my levels just to see, is that coming through? Listen just to the A section. And just let me check my levels just to see, is that coming through? Listen just to the A section. Yep, I think you guys can hear my bouzouki too. Let me have a look at my levels. Where's my bouzouki? Yep. Okay, so as usual, if I just open up the bouzouki just to let you guys see, and also maybe get it in... That's a bit weird looking. I Let me just adjust. Yeah, I'm gonna have to adjust that second camera, the bottom right. You guys can see that it's in the wrong place. It's maybe about 5-6 centimeters out. So let me just go in here into my link controller, and let me see if this is going to open. Okay, so I just need to move it over so slightly. Let me see if I just do that. Nope, wrong way. Sorry guys, 2 seconds. Go this way and go down. Okay. Okay. Don't worry about it. I know it's a wee bit orange looking at the moment, but I will be changing the lighting to a bit more on the white side so you can actually see the strings a bit more clearly than this, but I just want to make sure I get the position right. Okay, so that should be, update that. Okay. That should be good to go. Okay. Let's adjust that so we can actually see. Go to cold or white. Whoa. Go down. Okay, doke. So hopefully it stands out a wee bit. The strings are a wee bit clearer there. So the first thing that we always do, guys, when you're listening to a piece is, of course, try and find the key. You need to find that tonic first before you do anything. So the way that I do that, it's not very scientific. It's just humming the tonic or the main note that all the tune seems to center around. If you think of it like the sun and all the other notes of the scale, or like the other planets, they all go around, you know, the central point, which is that tonic note. That so we need to find where that is. I think actually was what it was. So if we just listen to that opening again. So it's not D. It's not D sharp. Not E. There we go. I think we find it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that's where we put our capo. We're going to be putting our capo on the 3rd fret, which is a wee bit unusual for standard trad tuning. You know, usually it's capo on 2, which is probably where we're going to be putting it. Let me just double check to see, did I say semitone lower or higher in my recordings? I think it's semitone lower. Yeah, so we are going to push all of this down into capo on 2, but we're just going to keep it capo on 3, which is where Olivia's tuning it. And as usual, I find that the versatility of fiddle players especially is really, really good for a lot of the tunes that I want to play in those keys, but you don't really get the opportunity in sessions because, you know, it would mean that whistles and flutes and accordions, concertinas, anything with sort of fixed tuning tends to be sort of isolated and left out if we can't stick to the normal capo on 2, capo on 5, capo on 7. Those tend to be the only three, and you'll notice that in these strings over time. You'll find that these are relatively new strings that have been on a few weeks, and as time goes on, you'll actually see these strings begin to wear and tear on those particular frets because that's where the capo is going to most frequently go. So that's why another reason why I like moving somewhere else is because it keeps me on my toes as well, having to know where everything is now. So this will be interesting. I know this tune from listening to it. I think it's was it Dervish who played it, or was it Solus? I think it was Dervish. I think it's Dervish I originally heard this from. And yeah, I actually don't know how to play it, you know, on the whistle. So this will be interesting for me. Able to do that. Let me see. That's a wee listen. We go from here to the end. Okay, so the unusual thing structurally about this reel is that there are 3 parts to it. Okay, so, and it's not as long. Each part is not as long as you'd expect, which is why we're actually playing it twice. I know it looks like when I share my desktop that there's a lot of sections to this piece, but really this section and this section, you could consider this the A section. Okay, those first two. This would be the B section, and then this would be the C section. And then we're back to the A, back to the B section, and then back to the C section for the ending. Okay, so it's like A, B, B, C, C. Now, that is not terribly unusual, I suppose. Like, there's quite a lot of tunes that have multiple sections like this, but the vast majority of tunes in Irish traditional music are binary. And they're quite long as well. Like the A section itself is repeated, whereas this A section is kind of repeated, but it's very small. It's very short. Like it's only that's it. So if I show you the MuseScore file of this, just to give you an idea of what it looks like with the dots, that's it there. It's really only 4 bars, and then those 4 bars are repeated. So it's like half as long. If I zoom in, it's half as long as a normal, a so-called normal, standard Irish traditional tune. So usually when in Irish traditional music, you would have 8 bars would be your A section, and those 8 bars are repeated. That's not the case here. So you can either view this as just a small little A section, 4 bars, which is repeated in the next line, or you can view it more traditionally and think, well, it's 8 bars of the A section, which isn't repeated at all. And then this is the B section down here, which again is 8 bars long and isn't repeated at all. And then this is the C part down here, again, as you'd expect, 8 bars long and isn't repeated at all. That is unusual. It's compared to the standard structure of binary AA, BB, and yeah, the A section is usually 8 bars. So not only is it a 3-bar reel, which isn't terribly unusual, or sorry, a 3-part reel. Not only is it a 3-part reel, which isn't terribly unusual, but what is a bit unusual is inside of that 3-part reel, that the A section and the B section and the C section are half as long, really. Okay, so obviously it's still a great tune. It doesn't distract from the tune or anything. It's just interesting structurally. So that's the first thing. Second thing that's unusual about it is it's not as you see it here. This is the standard way of writing it, which would be in the E is our sort of tonic note. As you guys know from what I just said earlier, we're not on Kappa 1-2. This would be considered Kappa 1-2. We're Kappa 1-3. So we've taken this and transposed it all up a semitone. Okay, so if I was to just increase the tempo to, let's see, I'll put it to 60 maybe. Minim equals 60. Get rid of this. Put that. I think this is the speed I usually do. Maybe a bit faster. Yeah, that's a good learning speed there. If I make it like quite fast, like 110 or something. That's approaching full speed, and as you can hear from her original recording, that's not the tuning. So what I would have to do if I wanted to sort of play along with what she's doing is take that whole thing and just move it up like that, or maybe, yeah, something like that into this. That's actually quite close to what she has here in terms of speed. Yeah, so ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. We'll just keep it in the standard because we'll come back to this later, and I'm just going to put this back to 70. I think that's, I have to remember that's my learning speed. Always good to make a wee note of your learning speed, that you take your reels and your jigs will be something different, your slides will be something different, your hornpipes will be something different, and your polkas will be something different, and so on and so on and so on. Make a little note somewhere, unlike me where I'm trying to guess each time. It depends. Sometimes there's a tune that I know really well and I might learn it a wee bit faster. I know to hear it really well. I don't know how to play it. So I would find those tunes easier to learn because I've heard them 100 times before. So yeah, it's going to save that for later. Yeah, it's the House of Hamill, House of Horrors, House of Hamill Muse score. I'm just going to save that. Great Ed Reevy tune. Okay. So let me see. That's the unusual parts out of the way. It's got an unusual... Oh, actually, there's one more unusual thing. It's got an unusual structure with 3 sections, and each section not being repeated. But also, you guys, any of you guys here got a good ear, you may have noticed that at some point towards the end, it does change key or change tonality. So... it's like E Mixolydian or something, like da bum, those G sharps. Da. So E in this version, E is still our tonic. It's just that now it's a different mode that we're using for the final third section. It's like E Mixolydian or something. And then the beginning of it is more like E Dorian. Da, 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 with no G sharps at all. It's all just G naturals. That's a little idea. You can see that's happened 3 times. Whereas at the beginning it was more da ba 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 ba, then ba 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 ba. Yeah, so there's a change of mode. That does happen when you are in the Aeolian mode, and you go into like the Ionian mode at the end. So that happens quite a bit, but it's a bit more unusual for it to be like this, where you're in the E Dorian and you're going to E Mixolydian. That is not as common, okay, and it's really effective. I'll have to just figure something out because I can't play that up to full speed on a whistle if I'm half covering the hole to get G sharp. So that's going to be interesting. What do you do when you try to learn a tune that on your instrument that can't play some of the accidentals that are no problem whatsoever for fiddle players to play? They can play almost anything. So we have to compensate a wee bit for flutes and for flutes, whistles, and pipes. Anything with fixed tuning needs to figure something. So we'll look at that in a minute. I'm just gonna save this. Oops, the cue sheet. I don't think I changed anything, but I'm just gonna save it anyway, just in case. Yeah, replace whatever's there. And I'm going to slow down. I'm going to take the original audio. Yeah, I think it's this one. I'm going to open this up in pitch switch and just slow it down. As you guys know, when I do this every week, I slow the tune down to probably about 84%. Try not to go below like 70 because it does start to warp a little too much. That's a good speed there. And it's already beginning to get quite distorted. There's nothing like the real music guys. Always go back to Olivia's Facebook to actually hear the proper thing, because what I'm doing here is obviously taking extreme liberties like with what she's performing. This is not her sound at all. Especially when you get down to like below 70, it's just obviously that doesn't do her justice at all, but it's just for learning purposes, that's all. So 84% is probably a good. Yeah, that's the chord I'm looking for. I'm gonna go back to Bouzouki to let you guys see the chords I'm thinking of. So capo on 3 and then just 7 frets up from that is your usual tonic chord. In this case, let's bring up our reverse chord up to figure out what chords we're going to be using for this. Let's see, capo on 3, going down. Nice, so F Dorian? That's very rare. Get used to the scale a wee bit. That might be nice sometimes. Okay, so that's the 7th fret from the very bottom here. So that chord, oh my goodness, C sharp, probably better thinking of it as either the C sharp major chord or D flat. For me, that is always got this sort of, the Kinks, you know, Lola, you know that. Okay, so that's the feel that I always get when I hear that, because it usually wants to go to there, and then, so that is our You want to think of it as D flat or C sharp, whatever one works. And then you can think of this as A sharp, maybe D, and I think it's probably maybe B flat is a better way. I'm not sure what's the best way of thinking of that chord. And then up to F. Yeah, let's see the way that's, yeah, F5. That's their tonal center for this. That makes the most sense. So maybe thinking of that as F, go down 2 from F, and E flat. Yeah, it's a better way of thinking of it, I think, is like an E flat chord. E flat, B, E flat. And just like, you can play that F as your sus2 or just not play it at all. And just think of it as an E flat 5 chord. I'm thinking of it as an E flat 5 because I know that this is our F5 chord. So F going to E flat makes much more sense than F going to D sharp. You know, that's a bit of a mess, that analysis. A sharp sus4 over D sharp. Yikes. No. B flat sus4 over E flat. Not really. I'm more thinking this as an E flat chord. There's only one B flat. So it's better I go to the very last one. This is what's in my mind. E flat, yes. And then the sus suspended second is the F. It's just 2 above E flat. That's what the sus2 is there for. But I really only concentrate on the 4th course, 3rd course, and 2nd course. If I hit that the odd time, 1st course, doesn't matter. Because that's where we're going half the time anyway. So get used to that little progression. You're going to come across it very much in a lot of different tunes in, you know, more sort of standard places to put the capo, like on 2 and on 7. This chord in those positions would be the same. You usually just move everything up 2 frets and then everything up 2 frets again, but just one finger. Okay, so that's our tonic. F. Let's try and work out some stuff. Have something different for that 3rd part. Da. Da, 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 da. It's going to be an interesting little one, this, because of that key change, so I might have to play through this a few times to find that particular progression. At the moment I've got something like, I have to get back to that dum dum dum. It's going to be our main chord progression throughout this whole thing, is that da da dum. That's where it gets me a wee bit, is that second time round. That was only the B section, or the A section, I should say. Second time round, over and over and over and over and over and over again. That's the way I usually try to sort of come up with something. Is just, letting it sink in over time. Okay, taking your time with it as well, like not moving on to another part, like constant repetitive. Can be very annoying to listen to. I know. But it does actually have a purpose in sort of training your ear to pick up on little cues and little structural points to the tune. Like the whole way through that, I think she's doing that chord there. Okay, which we've seen before. It's this one here, the so-called D flat, I would call it. D flat, E flat, F. So you can probably hear that in the background with the second violin sort of doing that double stopping maybe. And let's hear it. Lovely chords in there as well, so I'm trying to sort of follow her stuff and at the same time come up with like counter melodies and things. So I'm just going to change that. Yeah, like camera, it's either me moving, obviously. I'm not getting that camera angle just right for this. Okay. Yeah, so move it up a wee bit. There we go. Update the preset. There we go. Okay, back to normality. I'll try and stay within that. I move a lot around. I move around a lot when I'm playing, just to sort of go with the flow a wee bit. It's kind of hard for me to sort of sit still when I'm doing this. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, what should I practice? I'll do that first, but again, just to make sure that I get like the A. I'm going to do this section by section. Okay, so I've got like a little idea. It's the best way. So. Simple wee idea, but am I going to expand on that later where I have this? Just trying to figure out what's the best. Getting a lot of reverb from this fourth course, even though I'm not touching it. Okay, so what am I actually playing there? Da 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 dum, da 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 dum. Okay. It really should be A flat, B flat. Okay, I know it's in G sharp, but just go with me. That G sharp really should be just considered the A flat. A flat, B flat, A flat, G, then G, A flat, G, open F on that third course. So now there's going to be a few concentrated strums on that third, second, and first course. Here we go. Okay, there's a couple of ideas that I'm mixing up all over the place there, as you can tell. I have to get there's 3 ideas that I'm trying to get in there before I have to do the... So I'm trying to get the... Da-da-da-da-dum. Yeah, that's a wee bit tricky with the being sort of plugged in or mic'd up, because I can really hear my fingers, which I don't normally hear when I'm playing just acoustically. I'm just going to check my levels because that sounds really, really loud. Hold on 2 seconds. Let's go to here. Okay, so it sounds a wee bit, yeah. a wee bit. If I just break it down, what we're doing there, the first part is that's with the other courses. Individually, just melodically, it's da 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 dum da da dum. With the other strummed strings. The second half. Whoops. Use the second half again. It's not even the second half, it's like the last part of it, if that makes sense. So let's see, you can move it here. Where does that occur within the music itself? If I just open the pitch switch just to slow that performance down again, just to make sure that we can actually play probably around about, what was it, 86 or 87%. I'll just bring it back to maybe there. Okay, so maybe just bring it back a wee bit more. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it from the start again. Here we go. Yeah, so it's da 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 dum. So and by the time you get to that, you're repeating the cycle over again. Okay, so we listen to it. Okay, so we have the beginnings of something. Excuse me. We have the beginnings of something for that A section. I'm not sure if I would keep it exactly the same for the repeat of it, the so-called repeat of it. It's only the next 4 bars. To maybe contrast it, you could do one of them with chords and then one of them with like more sort of counterpoint polyphonic texture. So maybe... or the other way around, start off. Okay, so it's kind of up to yourself what way you want to do it. Do you want to repeat, have alternating texture? Do you want to have just the one texture, just strumming chords the whole way through, or polyphonic the whole way through? Or do you want like polyphonic the whole way through with something different for the second half? A wee bit cumbersome, that one, but it might be worthwhile exploring. Yeah, so it's a little bit higher. It could be something like that. If you wanted to do like a variation of it, the first half is... I messed it up. Here it is again. That's it. just a little variation on the first thing that we already did. That's all that it is. So the second time it's up high. Da 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 dum dum dum. Okay, that would be the A section. The B part. That's your D flat chord. Did you hear that in the violin? Trying to something different for that third part now. The chord that I'm playing there is I've got my... Oh, actually, just realized it's a wee bit out of screen, a wee bit out of shot. I'm holding my pinky is holding down the, which actually should be an F, but we'll get to that in a minute. Yeah. F, A, C, F. So going from F to that. Well, I suppose you could think of it as a C5 chord, even though technically it's a C sus4 because the F's there. But remember, that first course is nowhere near as important as these bass. When it comes to chords, guys, it is the first three courses are the most important for the chords, and the last, oh, I'll do it the other way around. The last three courses, the thickest courses, fourth and the third and the second, they are what controls your harmony, and the first, second, and third are what control your melody. So the second and third can be multi-purpose, like they can be part of the chord or else used for harmonic or melodic purposes. So here I'm thinking of this. I would never think of this as an F sus2 over C. You know, an F A C chord. The sus2 there is the G, and then it's over C in the bass. That's just a weird way. C sus4 is much more what you're expecting. It's acting as a dominant chord. Dum 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 dum. Da, 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 to get us back to F. It's weird for me. Do you see the way the dot here is on the so-called 9th fret of the actual fingerboard of this whole bouzouki or this whole guitar? That is not where my dot is. My dot is on the 10th. So I'm missing that so often in doing this. I don't know what that is. E, F major 7, no third over E. Yeah, whatever. If you hear that, you'll know that I've misjudged. Where you can see it actually here, where the dot is here. Yeah, next to my finger. Whereas sometimes when I'm looking at reverse chord, that confuses me. Seeing the 9th is lit up, but not the 10th. Okay. And what's even more confusing is the 5th and the 7th are correct. For here, this is my 7th and my 5th, and that's what you have here as well on the reverse chord, but they've lit up the 9th as well, and I don't know why. 10 is much more useful for me for trad music anyway. Okay, enough of my problems. So yeah, that is the chord I was aiming for, was that. That'd actually be nicer. Let's see where I can get that in. Oops. Sorry. Here we go. Whoops. Here we go. Yeah, so it's this part here. Yeah, so what am I? I'll show you the chords I'm doing. That's kind of an important wee one. So that is the way that I'm playing this chord is that A is my first finger. Okay, so there. And then my pinky is trying to stretch up to get to that 4th course up here. I'm not too worried if I end up, dampening it a wee bit. Like it's a wee bit, scuffed. It's just the thing that I'm really aiming for is that A. So even if it's a wee bit off, I'm not too worried. The next one is a bit of an unusual one. Yeah, this would be more. Where's the E flat? These are all weird. Yeah. It doesn't want me to choose this one because I have to get rid of this one chord here. But again, if I add this back, yeah, E flat sus2 is a lot more common way of describing this. But I'm not really holding him down, so I'm not going to pretend I am. I'm just going to put him out of the way for a sec. So it's like an E flat sus2 without the 3rd string strum, but of course you're gonna strum that, or that 2nd course, you're gonna be strumming that. Da, da. And that, of course, is your C. Well, you can, if you want to, put down the third, your third finger on that first course. If you really want that G to be a proper C5 chord, if you add that G in, but I don't. I just keep it, you know, high and dry. There we go. So bum, dum. So the difference between that chord that's kind of the sound I'm aiming for. So ba bum for the fourth course and da da for the third course. It's kind of nice to be able to do that because the two chords, if you guys could see my hand position here for this is on the fourth course with the pinky, and this is on the third course with my first finger, and you can see the position of where they are on what frets they're on in the reverse chord up here. And then when I swap over to the next chord, it's the other two fingers that are already in between these two already. They're kind of ready to go down. So it's easy to sort of swap. It'd be interesting to see when I move this down, capo to 2, is that stretchy, is that possible now? So it'd be more like, this. It's possible, it's a bit more of a stretch, you just have to sort of practice that, but we'll keep it up on the third fret just so we can play along with Olivia. So that's kind of what I'm doing for the third part. I'm not really worried too much. I want it to be more harmonic, that third part, to be a bit more sort of like a climax of the piece. I'm not looking for any counterpoint over that. If you really wanted it, it'd be... So if you find the stretch too much, yeah, it might be nice to go into that. Okay, so we just played from that final section to the end. Let's see. Yeah, so if I was doing it... There's quite a few things you could put in there, come to think of it. How complicated do you want it to be? It's really up to yourself. Are you going to add in the... That's kind of nice. Can you even get it in? No, it sounds nice, but does it fit into the chord, into the tune? I'm spending too long on that third course. Maybe it's nicer just with one string. We'll see. Right. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. My goodness, radio. There's quite a few things then. That's the first. What was the second? I have to go back and remember. There we go. What was the second? Let's try playing it the whole way through. A couple of times, actually. Second time around it doesn't quite work. The first time around it's nice. Yeah, it works there. Okay, so I've got that part. Let me see, what else do we need? Whoa, second part. That's there. Da-da-da-da-dum. So it changes the second time, and I forgot, that's why it didn't gel. Yeah, I got to change it there. So da 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 da. Yeah. Yeah, it's a tricky wee part. Okay, so that's the first half, or the first third, and the last third is the. Yeah, so it's ending with the major. That's an interesting change. I just have to get that middle part, and then that's the whole tune. So I've got the first part, and I've got the last part. It's the middle part that's going to be the tricky part. Try that again from the start. So I'm gonna slow it all down. Trying to learn it at full speed is a wee bit crazy, but we'll see what I can remember from it. So the first half, or the first, I keep saying half, first third. Okay, let's just get that. Yeah, it doesn't actually matter which order you do it in. I was sort of smudging them both together, and it actually, you can take either of them. You can be really strict about it and do it like just with and then the second time round, what was it? That's it. There's not that much difference between them. One is centered around that little ending, is that little part there. I think it's the same in both. Yeah, it's kind of the same in each one. So which one do you want to do? Or well, the first time round it's second time round it's more arpeggiated, da-da-dum, as opposed to da-da-dum, hammer on. It's really up to yourself, like which way, like all of that can be mixed together. Okay, I think we've got that. The second part. Something weird. So what I'm doing there is I'm holding it's beginning to sound a wee bit like satay at this stage. Yeah, holding that down might be nice. I have no idea what that chord is. B flat minor 7, okay. That'd be an interesting change between something so dark. Okay, let's see what that sounds like. Okay, what does that sound like going into the next section? This is going to be weird, this one. Still haven't gotten that ending. There. Can't go up. So if I go up, I'll lose it. Can't go up to him. That might work. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting ending. Let's hear the ending repeated. Okay, I'll have to figure out a way to make this repeat. Okay. Try that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Bit slow on it. I'll just make it a bit quicker. Let me see. I'll show you guys what I'm doing as well. I just don't want this part here at the end where it just tails off. I want this part repeated, so. Not too late, I think. Yeah, I mightn't have time even to go to that. That may be it. And then have to do the ending. Okay, that's here. Okay, this is going to be fun trying to put all this together. I'm never going to remember all this. At least I've got it recorded. Okay, so... It's something like all of that. Okay, now this is all just put together, you know, like within tonight, within the last hour or hour and a bit. So I'm not expecting it to be, you know, this is the ending or whatever, but it's getting there. It'd be one or two other things that I'll put together for it, of course. Let me see. If I just go right back to the start and try playing it all the way through. Oh, what happened there? That's interesting. Undo. Oh, okay, I might have made a mess of that. I'm just going to open it up again, just to be sure. No, I didn't. Thank goodness. Here we go. He's got a couple more goes. We'll get it. Okay, so I'm gonna have to put this to the. I'll have to put a wee thing here at the end to try and cut that ending off. What does that sound like if I just... Okay, I'm just going to delete the ending, like the sort of... just so I can repeat the tune over and over. See what that sounds like. Here we go. Actually, let me see. Yeah. Yeah, getting from A to B is a wee bit tricky in this, but we'll get through that. I lost the time in there. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Maybe it's a wee bit too quick. Yeah, it's a smidgen out. Apologies, guys. Let me just undo. And move it over ever so slightly. There we go. What does it sound like now? a good 10 minutes there of me just playing that same thing over and over and over and over again. Yeah, and my fingers are beginning to show it. So, just to finish off, once of each one. So the A section starts off with okay. Then when it's kind of repeated, or the next 4 bars, you can think of it either way. It's again. Now that's, you should be into the second part of this tune. Only 2 fingers I'm holding down there, which are, yeah. So it moves to, and then up the D flat, so. To here, which I think it was an E flat, so sort of chord. So the third and final part. Yeah, it's a bit tricky. It's slightly different the second time around. That might be cleaner. So it's very contrasting there. Anyway, that's enough to be getting on with. It's certainly enough for me to be getting on with, because I'm gonna have to put all that together and try and remember it all. I think we got it though. So yeah, I will put that together and, you know, release that for you guys on YouTube, and, you know, as little shorts, and also as, you know, an edited version of this, so you don't have to go through the whole thing and listen to me play it. But I still think it's handy that I do this every week, just to show you the sometimes laborious process of coming up with things and how to, accompany certain tunes, and especially tunes like that, which are quite tricky. For me, that's very tricky. It has so many little things inside that require like special care. The fact that it's 3 parts, the fact that it changes key, the fact that it's in a weird capo position, the fact that each part isn't as long as it normally is. So there's a lot of things having to sort of, you're fighting against your normal urge to repeat, I'll repeat that section. Oh, no, I've got to go on to the next section. So the lesson here is to be careful of some of these tunes which are, have an unusual structure. You're probably better listening in the first time around anyway. If you find yourself getting lost, always listen in first and then try and join in a little, like, lightly. Always ask people the names of the tunes if they know it at the end as well. So that is The House of Hamill, Ed Reevy. Okay, guys, we'll leave it there, and I shall see you again either tomorrow for Ask Me Anything or next week for another stop around the practice of me session, another tour of my insanity of trying to learn a piece live during a stream. So if you enjoy watching me suffer, then you can tune in next week again, and I'll see you again then. Okay, all the best, guys. Take it easy.